How's it going, everybody? This is the Scrapper Tap podcast. Today we're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night Ortega versus the Korean Zombie. We're finally getting this fight. We've been waiting for it, I believe, over a year, but it's finally coming, and it's going to be a good one. The whole card is good. It took me a second to figure out who I wanted in this main event. It's going to be a really good and fun fight, but first we're going to do a quick recap of UFC Fight Night Moraes versus Sandhagen. So we went 8 for 13, so we had 8 correct out of the 13 fights. But we were correct on the main event and the co-main event. Corey Sandhagen looked good against Moraes. He was able to finish him. Looked super good with that head kick. That's exactly what we thought, man. Put him back on track and get him back in the race. Trying to maybe get another, fight that puts him in title contentions. He's up there for sure. And Edson Barbosa looked very good against Amir Khani. Man, we called that one. Edson still got it, and I like the way he looked there. So we cannot do this breakdown without talking about Joaquin Buckley. Got that nasty KO, spinning back kick. Whatever they ended up calling it, man, that's possibly the KO of the year. It looked great. Buckley looked good over Impa. I was taking Impa to get it done, but Buckley looked... He came out and got landed that nice one, and congratulations to him. It looked like Dana White made it worth his while and gave him quite a few bonuses. And let's see who else looked good. Tracy Cortez looked sharp. There was another one I did want to talk about. Chris Daukaus, man, once again proved me wrong. Taking out Nascimento. Chris Daukaus may be the real deal. Need to look at him a little more. And, man, he looks sharp out there. And then Tom Aspinall got it done for us, and he looked super good. So, coming off not too bad of a night. Did good on the main event and co-main event. Oh, and Tapura came through. I did take Zalal to get it done, but I had him as someone to watch out for as an underdog, and I had him on a bunch of DraftKings cards, and man, I had a great night for DraftKings. Did pretty good, won some money, and Tapura, he ended up coming through for me. So that was a big win. Shout out to Tapura. All right, after that, we're going to get straight into this, man. We're going to shoot through the prelims like we always do and then break down the main event a little more for UFC Fight Night Ortega versus the Korean Zombie, man. I'm excited for this one. All right, so first we have a big favorite. We got the minus 400 Said Nurmagomedov versus Mark Striegl, the plus 300 underdog. So we just broke down Mark a little while ago. He was supposed to fight and make his UFC debut. That did get canceled. Now he's a very athletic guy. He's a stud. He looks like a stud in there, and he looks sharp against the opponents he has faced. Not quite the competition as Said has already faced. And man, it is hard to bet against a Nurmagomedov brother. And he looked good. He fought this in December, I believe, pretty recently, right? In December, and he looked good against Barcelos, got the decision win, and before that he had his UFC debut against Ricardo Ramos and got a KO, man, and he's looking good. Can't bet against him. He's a big favorite. I'm rocking with Said Nurmagomedov. I only see improvements from here on out, so I'm rocking with Said to get it done over Mark Striegl by submission. Let's go second round sub. Yeah, that sounds about right. After that, we got the plus 275 Gadzimrad Antigulov versus Maxim Grishin. And, man, this one's going to be a pretty fun fight. So, Maxim, I think he's making his second fight in the UFC. He fought to Tabura, I believe, before that. And he didn't look too good. He lost. Tiberius is not looking too bad. He just got a big win over Ben Rothwell, so maybe that makes it look a little better. But man, over Antigulov, I definitely like Maxim here. I'm hoping he shows what he truly has. But Antigulov, he fought Paul Craig and got submitted before this, and that was July of last year. And then before that, he got knocked out. So he has not found a win yet. It's just, it's easier for me to lean to Maxim here. I think Maxim just has a bigger upside here, so I'm going to take him by decision. It would not be surprised if these guys come out swinging and he finds himself a KO, but I'm taking Maxim Grishin to get it done by decision. After that, we got the minus 125 Jamie Mullarkey versus Ziam, the plus 100 underdog. Underdog, and Mullarkey's coming in as the minus 125 favorite. Okay, not too bad. Pretty close to a pick'em is what, and that's what I think it probably should be. Let's check these guys out real quick. Let me pull them up. Right now I'm leaning towards Mullarkey, man. So let me pull them up. Let me just talk about the last couple fights they've had. I was watching some tape on Ziam earlier. Not so impressed. I think that's why I'm leaning towards Mullarkey. My computer's loading a little slow, but he's 12-3-0. Ziam's 10-3. Similar records. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, Mullarkey there. I knew there was something that was kind of like having me lean towards him. He has been in there with Brad Riddell, which I think highly of Brad Riddell. He did go to decision with him. He lost it. But, man, that's very good experience. And for Ziam, there's just nothing there that I was really able to see. Man, he can come in here and prove me wrong. Like I said, he definitely can. I thought he was making his UFC debut, but I might just be sleeping on him. Let's see this. As this takes a second to load. Yeah, okay, so yeah, he's fought Don Madge back in September 2019, and he lost by decision. So both these guys have one fight. I like who Mullarkey fought in the UFC, and I think he looked a little bit better against him. So I'm going to take the favorite here. I'm taking the minus 125 Jamie Mullarkey to get it done. After that, we got Jun Yong, the minus 220 favorite versus John Phillips, plus 180. Man, John Phillips is super tough. We just saw him take on the rising star. I'm blanking on his name, which I shouldn't be because he's been all over Twitter with with some pretty good, some studs in the UFC. He's making his name super quick after 2 fights. Why am I blanking on him? And it does not help that my computer is loading so slow and just not giving me any help here. But yes, Khamzat Chimaev, okay? He fought Chimaev. He was submitted super quick. Not super quick. It was in round 2, but he just, Chimaev was all over him. He's a tough guy in there, but man, just against Chimaev, that's just a tough break. Now, Park Jung-yoon, he's been in some fun fights. He's in there to swing and bang. When he fights, I'm interested in watching. His last fight, he fought Barrio. He went to decision, and before that, he was submitted by Anthony Hernandez, which was a pretty fun fight before that submission. I'm going to take Park Jung-yoon over John Phillips. I think John Phillips is super tough and maybe can take him to decision, maybe catch him slipping and land a good punch. But I got to take Park Jung-yoon. John Phillips just has not showed me enough besides toughness, and rarely will I just bet on toughness. So I'm taking Park Jung-yoon to get it done. After that, we got Claudio Silva, the plus 140 underdog versus James Krause, the minus 160. Look, I thought this should have been a pick'em. So I make my picks before I go and look at the odds. And I'm going to just say right now, I'm taking Claudio Silva by submission. And when I saw the odds that James Krause was the favorite, I understand he's a bit younger. The name sits in good, but man, his last fight was against Trevin Giles, went to decision and lost. I'm not saying he looked bad, but I don't know. He had to step up in competition. I feel like that wasn't much. Before that, he did fight Sergio Moraes, got a KO. And then before that, in 2018, Warley Alvarez, he KO'd, and then a decision win over Alex White. So look, he's looked good. He has that power, but man, I think he has that power and can finish him with a KO finish. But I think he's gonna have to be very careful with Claudio. Do not get taken to the ground. Do not get caught with your neck out, man. I feel like there's an opportunity here for Claudio to hit as an underdog. So his last fight, he fought Cole Williams and submitted, and I understand Cole Williams isn't like the greatest prospect, but not a bad fighter. Submitted him. And then before that, Danny Roberts, which I like a lot. I'm a fan of Danny Roberts. He submitted him in the 3rd round as well, man. I think maybe the odds, as soon as I saw that, maybe that's why I feel like it's a lock, but it's really not. It's really not. Krause could come in here and KO Claudio in the first or second round, but I'm taking Claudio Silva to get a submission over James Krause. So that's my first underdog of the night, and I'm gonna take it by submission. Let's go second round. I saw first round and third round against Daniel Roberts. We're gonna go right in the middle and take a second round submission over James Krause. All right. After that, we got Jillian Robertson, the minus 250 versus Poliana Botelho, the plus 200. All right, man. I'm liking Jillian Roberts here. I think she's going to get it done by submission. I think her grappling is going to be good. I think Poliana got to the advantage standing up a bit, but I think Robertson can hang with her, and I think she's going to find opportunities to take her down and find that submission. Jillian Roberts, man, so she's 8-4, but I think she's better than her record says. So her last fight, I think I was going against her. Yeah, I was taking Courtney Casey, and she submitted Courtney Casey, which actually has been looking pretty good. She submitted her in the third round. Before that, in 2019, she fought Macy Barber and was KO'd, but Macy Barber is a beast. Before that, she fought Sarah Frota and KO'd her. And I think I was leaning towards Frota there because I know that was like a pick'em type of fight. And then she submitted Veronica Macedo. So, man, she's tough. She's been very active in 2019, and then in 2020, she beat Courtney Casey. I think it's leaning towards her for me. But Poliana, she's a bit older, 6 years older. She's 31. And I think Jillian is just getting better with age. But yeah, she's coming off a win against Lauren Mueller, a decision win. So, she has a shot, man. She can get it done. There is some few paths to victory, but I think Jillian Robertson got some more. So I'm taking her to get it done. And I think they're going to bang for the first round, and Jillian's going to catch her early. Submission first round, Jillian Robertson. After that, all right, let me pull it up on here. Prepare. I'm going to butcher these names, guys. It's going to happen. I went and watched a couple of their fights just to help me out a bit, but is what it is. All right, so we got the minus 285. Let's go with Mattis Gamrot versus Guram Kutateladze. And Kutateladze is coming in as the plus 245. Yeah, I probably butchered this. But, hey, man, it is what it is. I'm going to make this one quick, too. I'm going with the favorite, Gamrot. So I had to look him up. Didn't know. Wasn't too familiar with these guys. Making their UFC debut. But if you look on the Tapology, I got to go with the undefeated fighter. And, I don't know too many of I don't know the opponents he's been fighting, though it looks like he's been dominating. They both have been fighting, these fighters on cards that we don't know about in promotions that, lower promotions. I'm not saying they're not good fighters. They can definitely come in here, prove that they're supposed to be in the UFC, and definitely can, man. Like I said, just because I don't know these guys does not mean they are not studs. But I'm taking the undefeated 17-0 fighter. He looked pretty good in the tape that I did see, and like I said, I don't have too much to go off of, so I'm not gonna be telling y'all to go heavy on anybody. But I'm taking Gamrot to get it done. He's the minus 285 favorite, and we're gonna go by decision. Yeah, let's go by decision. Now we're going into the main card. All right, let's get it done. The minus 118, Thomas Almeida versus Jonathan Martinez, the minus 102. All right, Thomas Almeida, man. So I remember him. He's been fighting for a good while. I think he took a couple years off as well. I'm about to pull up his record, but I remember him being in some fun fights, and now he's going against Jonathan Martinez, who just recently has been in some fun fights. And it's kind of weird, man. Thomas Almeida, he's only 29 years old, but he's been in the UFC since 2014. But there was a little 2014. guess there wasn't much of a gap. I guess just the 2018, a little 2-year layoff. But he fought Rob Font in 2018 and was KO'd. Did not look good. Before that, he has a decision loss to Jimmy Rivera. Now, what I remember him putting on some fun fights in 2015. He fought Brad Pickett. That one stood out. That was a good name that's still relevant to this day. And in 2014, or was it still in 15? Yeah, I guess it was just that Brad Pickett. I remember that fight, and I remember him fighting a couple other guys. Cody Garbrandt, he made that run, and then he was knocked out by Cody Garbrandt. After that, came back and got a nice KO win. But after that, in 2017, it was downhill. Jimmy Rivera lost, then fought in 2018, lost to Rob Font, KO'd, and then took all of 2019 off to come against Jonathan Martinez, the scrappy Jonathan Martinez here in 2020. Man, I got to go with Jonathan Martinez, the minus 102 favorite. Honestly, I know Thomas's capabilities, but man, just the recent history and the time off. It's hard not to go with Jonathan Martinez. I think he should actually be a bigger favorite here. His last fight was against Frankie Saenz. Decent opponent, KO'd him in round 3, and before that, Andre Ill beat him by decision. But man, Andre Ill is a good fighter. That's good experience right there. So yeah, man, I'm liking Jonathan Martinez. Man, he's a scrappy kid, coming off a nice KO win. I think the momentum's with him, so I'm going to take Jonathan Martinez to get it done by. Let's go decision. I want to say TKO, but I'm going to go with decision. I know Thomas is tough. After that, we got the minus 350 Jimmy Crute versus plus 275 Modestas Bukauskas. Man, Bukauskas is coming off a sick KO. I actually was taking his opponent in that one. And now he's coming in as another underdog, man. And it's hard not to want to go with him to cash in, but he's going against Jimmy Crute. And I'm a fan of Jimmy Crute. And I'm not going to lie, I'm sitting with him here. And I like him by sub. I think there's going to be some good punches thrown here, but I don't think Jimmy Crute wants to get caught slipping with Modestas here, especially after seeing what he just did. Jimmy Crute's only 24 years old, very young, but he's coming off a nice submission win here he fought in February of 2020, man, so he's been active. I like Jimmy Crute here. 11-1, really good prospect. But man, I'm kind of worried they're feeding him to another guy that doesn't have the greatest name, but definitely has some good power and has a shot to be a real contender here in the light heavyweight division. Modestas, but yeah, I'm liking Jimmy Crute. They're both young. Jimmy Crute 24, Modestas is 26, and he's coming off a nice win over Andreas Mitch Diaz, and it was a round 1 KO, man. It's going to be a fun fight. This is another guy that might be in my underdog, Modestas, but I'm going to have to take Jimmy Crute, the big favorite, minus 350, and I'm going to take him by submission in round 3. All right, after that, we got Caitlin Chookagian, the plus 110 underdog versus Jessica Andrade, the minus 138. Okay, all right. This is going to be a fun one. This is going to be a pretty good fight. We got Caitlin Chookagian, 14-3, and then Jessica Andrade, 20-8, man. I'm a fan of Jessica Andrade. She is always coming in to bang. Her last fight, she took on Rose Namajunas and lost by decision. I was rocking with Rose. And before that, she lost to the champ, Zhang Weili. And so she's been, and before that was when she beat Rose when she slammed her. So her last 3 fights have only been against some of the best in this women's strawweight division. And before that, she was back to her winning ways in 2018 against Tisha Torres and Carolina. So look, she's a very tough girl, only facing the top opponents. So, the fact that it's even this close, I get it. Caitlin Chookagian, she's a good opponent, slightly bigger than her, but man, I'm not going to say stronger than Jessica Andrade. And she did come off a nice decision win over Antonina Shevchenko. And before that, she fought her sister and got KO'd by Valentina Shevchenko. So I know she's been facing tough opponents as well. She's a decision fighter. She's beaten Maya and Calderwood by decision. She's faced some really great opponents and has beaten them, man. Lost to Jessica I. Just naming a couple things that stick out. And I think this is going to be a really tough fight. I think this is a big opportunity for Katlyn Chookagian, but I think Jessica Andrade is gonna rise and stay up there, man. I think if Katlyn tries to bang with her and stay in the pocket with her, it's not going to be a fun night. So I'm taking Jessica Andrade to get it done by TKO. After that, we got the minus 700 Ciryl Gane versus Ante Delija, the plus 500 underdog, man. I'm going to make this one quick. Ciryl Gane's one of my dark horses. I think he should be everybody's dark horse. I'm not trying to disrespect Delija, the guy he's fighting. But, man, Ciryl Gane's he's a beast, and I'm a big fan of him. His last fight, he beat Tanner Boser by decision. Before that, he had a submission win over Dontel Mays, which he was winning that whole fight, and then found that ankle lock, I believe it was. And then he has a submission win over Rafael Pessoa. So, man, he has 3 straight wins. And Tanner Boser, I'm a fan of as well, and he's looked really good recently. And, you know, he had a good decision win over him. So he can go the distance. He can knock you out, and he can submit you. He's just a beast. So like I said, I'm not trying to disrespect his opponent, but it's hard for me to not go with Ciryl Gane, just like the odds, and have him as a lock of the night, man. I like Ciryl Gane here to get this done. And I think we're going to see that first KO or TKO here in the first round, second round. But if he ends up submitting him like he's been doing recently, hey, that wouldn't surprise me. But I'm taking Ciryl Gane to get it done. All right, after that, we got the long-awaited main event, Brian Ortega versus Chan Sung Jung, also known as the Korean Zombie. Look, we've been wanting this fight. Brian Ortega is 14-1. He hasn't been so active. Here's the issue, man. He hasn't fought since 2018. He's coming off a nasty knockout loss to Max Holloway. No shame in that. You know, he showed his chin. He showed he's a warrior, but against Max, it wasn't enough. Before that, obviously, was undefeated. It was a great UFC prospect, and the UFC looks highly at him, as do I. Very good at jiu-jitsu. He's a jiu-jitsu practitioner. That's what I think the Korean Zombie is really going to have to look out for here. Now look, the Korean Zombie's on a run as well. So he's coming off that last second knockout loss to Yair Rodriguez. Oh, that was back in 2018. And he came right back. And honestly, he was winning that whole fight against Yair and got caught with the last second funky little bent over up elbow. I don't even know what it was called, man, but it was sick. But he came back, had a KO win over Marciano, and then Frankie Edgar to put him back on track. Because before that Yair fight, he was on a run as well, knocking out Bermudez. Man, I honestly think the Korean Zombie is a win or two away from a title shot. This is a huge one. I believe Ortega's ranked second in the division, and this will put him right there. Brian Ortega, a lot of people are saying that the takedown is there for him if he's able to get the takedown and, submit him or, just control it. But that's not usually what he does. He likes to stand in there. He likes to show that he can fight. And when something is presented to him like a neck or they end up, on the ground, he's very good at, transitioning to submissions. And that's what the Korean Zombie is going to have to look out for. It's not so much the takedowns. I don't think Brian Ortega is going to go out there and take him down. But, might get a little sloppy with a couple punch exchanges. And I would not be, if it hits the mat, Brian Ortega will be looking for some type of submission. But I don't think Brian Ortega is going to be able to stand with the Korean Zombie at all. And I don't think he's going to be able to take the punishment that he did against Max Holloway. I think the Korean Zombie will actually be able to put him away. That power, it's real, man. It's tough. So, look, I've been back and forth. And then when I saw the odds, I saw Brian Ortega was the underdog. It is so hard not to bet on that underdog, and I will have him in some DraftKings plays. But, guys, I got to go with the Korean Zombie. I think this is his time with a win here. I think he'll be looking at a title shot very soon. And I don't think, I don't think Brian Ortega is going to be able to get him down. You got to remember, Brian Ortega was trying to take down Cub Swanson before he finished him. He was trying to take him down. And Cub Swanson, yes, has good takedown defense, but man, he was stuffing him. He was stuffing him, and I think that's, basically what the Korean Zombie will do if Brian Ortega tries to take him down, and I think he'll end up catching him. So I'm going to take it. I think it's going to be late. I think it's going to be a war, but I'm going to take like let's go third or fourth round TKO by the Korean Zombie. It would not surprise me if Brian Ortega, finds his submission or even maybe stuns him a bit and then finds the submission or something. Brian Ortega, he's a beast. He has one loss, and, it's not just because that one loss is why I'm not taking him in this fight, but the 2-year layoff, that does not look great. There's been injuries, and, the Korean Zombie's, he's been sharp. He's looked really good coming off two straight KOs. So I'm going to take the Korean Zombie to get a late fight TKO finish, man. It's going to be a fun fight. So here are a couple of my underdogs to look out for the night. There's going to be 2 of them. So I'm going to take Mark Striegl as one of the underdogs. I would not be surprised if he finds that one punch power, that one punch finish over Said Nurmagomedov. So that's one underdog to look out for. Also, Modestas Bukauskas. Bukauskas is coming off a sick KO, man, and I would not be surprised if he's able to find something against Jimmy Crute. I don't think we can sleep on him. Those are 2 underdogs to look out for. Now for the locks of the night, my first one's quite obvious. It's Cyril Gane. I think he's a pretty good lock, and I think he's going to try to find some type of finish, submission or TKO. Like I said, I think he's going to find his first TKO, so I'm taking that. And then after that, I'm taking Julian Robertson to be a lock over Baliana. And I know that's tough to say sometimes, man, but man, she looks sharp, and it's hard for the paths of victory are there for her. I'm taking Robertson to get it done, and also be a lock of the night. So, man, this is the Scrapper Tap podcast. Let me know if you have any differences in picks. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe. Scrapper Tap podcast.